NBC Chicago has a story for us here. Elgin man told to stop slumber parties for homeless during cold, he says. I don't know if it's pronounced Elgin or Elgin, whatever it is. But let me tell you about this guy. So there's a man named Greg Schiller who lives in the Chicago suburbs, and he opened up his basement for homeless people in the cold. So he was very nuanced in how he did it. He said, okay, I'm only going to let them in when the actual shelters where they can stay, their official shelters, are closed. I'm only going to keep them in for a certain amount of time. They're only going to stay in my basement, and it's just basically to prevent from them dying, because it's fucking freezing. It's freezing over there, and there were people who were struggling and they had nowhere to go, so he opened up his basement to take care of them. But bottom line is, he did it for a limited amount of time, only when it's certain temperatures, and he's doing it as an act of charity and as an act of human decency. Well, the government saw this, and they said, nope, we're not going to let you do that. So the government showed up at his door, went in his basement, said, your ceilings are too low, that's not to code. Your windows are too high, that's not to code. We're not going to let you do this, and if you don't kick these people out, we're going to condemn your house. So in other words, they're like, we'll seize your house if you don't stop helping homeless people who might die if you kick them out in the cold. We want you to kick them out in the cold. So, what could the reasons be for this? Well, none of them are good. I mean, likely what's happening is the neighbors see that there are homeless people going in and out of this guy's basement, and the neighbors are calling and say, look, in our beautiful suburb here, we don't want to see these kinds of people roaming around. We think it's dangerous. We think it's wrong. We think it's this. We think it's that. And so because people are spoiled, pampered little pricks, and because they, maybe they're concerned about housing prices, that's another thing we've seen in the news. There's an attempt to stop feeding of the homeless when they're feeding in suburban areas, and the homeowners say, hey, this is going to affect my house price. So they care more about maintaining the cost of houses, the price of houses for homeowners, than the lives of homeless people. That might play a factor in this. But whatever it is, it's really gross because it shows you, like, this is who the government really works for. Well, you have people who have more money, so the government's going to represent the people who have more money, as opposed to these homeless people in society who are kind of left behind by society. They're really poor. They have no power, no money, no sway over anything. And they're willing to put those people's lives at risk in order to appease the people with the money. It's just so gross, and it's so wrong. And, this guy's a hero, a bit of a hero, who said, I don't want them to die, so I'm going to open up my basement to them, and I'm going to follow all the codes that I have to follow and all that, and the government's still nailing him on it. Hey, maybe what the government should do is a nationwide program to end homelessness. It would actually save money. We've discussed this before. But when you let a homeless person out on the streets, it costs about $30,000 every year to the taxpayers. When you give them a roof over their head, it costs $10,000. So why not give them a roof over their head and save money? You save money if you do the right thing morally. That seems like a no-brainer to me. But no. Poor people and homeless people don't have a giant lobby pushing for their interests, so that gets left on the back burners. Nobody cares. We have 500,000 homeless people. We have about 40,000 homeless veterans. Nobody cares. Nobody talks about it. And then when somebody does care and does something about it, the government crushes them and says, we will fucking seize your property if you continue to help these homeless people and make sure that they don't die in freezing temperatures. And when somebody dies, because it will happen, it already happened in a different place, it will happen here too, the government will be at fault. They will be complicit.